Hey there, it's Shauna. Today I'm making mozzarella cheese from scratch for the first time, so come along and learn with me. I'll post the recipe both in the description box and in the pinned comments down below. Right now to a big pot, I'm adding about 1.5 liters or 8 cups of pasteurized whole milk. It's just what I have on hand, but I'd rather use raw milk. Pot goes on the stove, and then I turn the heat up to medium. And now I'm just gonna, I have a little interrupter here. So anyway, I'm just sticking this cooking thermometer into the milk just to get a baseline for what temperature it is starting off. As it's slowly heating up, I eventually want it to get to 120 degrees. I'm just getting 7 tablespoons of vinegar ready here and give my milk a little stir. This heats the milk up evenly. Check the temperature again and add the vinegar. Once all of the vinegar is added into the pot, I am going to make a sort of crisscross shape in the pot with my spoon, just to make sure all the vinegar distributes evenly in the milk. And as I'm doing this, you could see already the milk is starting to curdle, which is what you want. Once your milk reaches 120 degrees and curdles, you'll want to strain the cheese through a cheesecloth. I did end up just pouring the pot of cheese into the cheesecloth rather than just using a spoon. And after you have strained the cheese, you want to, my cup of tea here. You want to put the cheese into the microwave for about 30 seconds. There's another method of doing this, but this is just quicker for me. Now this step is important so that your mozzarella cheese doesn't actually just turn into cottage cheese, and that is stretching the mozzarella and making sure your mozzarella ball's internal temperature reaches 160 degrees. Temp isn't quite there yet, it's at 140 degrees, so I will just keep repeating the stretching and heating up for 30 seconds process until it does reach 160 degrees. As the cheese is getting closer to 160 degrees internal temperature, it is getting very, very hot to handle with just my hands and gloves. So I am just spinning it with my spoon, checking the temperature again, spinning it again with the spoon, shaping it into a nice little mozzarella ball, and then we have reached 160 degrees, giving it one final shaping, and then mozzarella! Just doing the final shaping of the mozzarella ball here, making sure that it's nice and firm, and there we have it. Now let's set up a little area here to slice the cheese and do a little taste test. Wow, that is really good. Beautiful homemade mozzarella cheese. Good flavor, nice creamy, yet slightly firm texture, just perfect. Now that I have this nice mozzarella, let's go ahead and make some sandwiches with mozzarella, chicken, and pesto. I just rinsed out the extra whey from the cheese from the big pot, and I'm browning my chicken in it just to save myself some dishwashing time. And what am I doing here? I'm taking my little carton of cherry tomatoes, and I'm heading into the multi-purpose room slash homeschool room slash, for right now, seedling growing room, and I am going to, oh, let me get my camera adjusted here. Hello. I am going to pick my own basil to make pesto. Now this is just one little small plant, so I won't have quite enough to make pesto in the traditional way, but it is enough for me. As I'm taking the basil leaves off this plant, I need to make sure that I leave at least a couple of big leaves so that the plant has what it needs to collect plenty of sunlight and energy to put out new leaves. Now it's time to make my pesto. Into a blender, I am supposed to use pine nuts, but I don't have those and the store didn't have them, so I'm just using sliced almonds. About half a cup. Next, I'm putting in some pumpkin and sunflower seeds that are sprouted from sprouts. I read somewhere that the sprouted seeds actually are better for you, partly because they're much easier to digest. So I've been buying these as snacks and for cooking and various things. I love it. Now I am going to just use a little lemon zester to grate some fresh Parmesan cheese into my pesto blend. I don't have a cheese grater yet. That is on my list for getting eventually, but for now, this works. And I'm just eyeballing it, but it should be about a third of a cup full of Parmesan cheese. Adding some minced garlic, eyeballing that, maybe about a tablespoon. Half a tablespoon of olive oil, not eyeballing that because I don't want to accidentally put too much. So as you'll see here, this little blender is just not doing it for breaking up the nuts and seeds for my pesto, so I had to switch to my food processor's blender. This is a Cuisine Art 3-in-1 food processor, blender, and juicer, and I love it. I use this all the time. I think my husband got it for me for our very first Christmas together, actually, so it's also very sentimental. Added the basil in there, and let's see how it all turns out. Oh yeah, much, much better. It's looking a little dry, this pesto, so I'm actually going to add a little bit more olive oil to it, and I'm also going to throw in the cherry tomatoes to moisten it up. The tomatoes were originally going to be sliced up and put directly onto the sandwich, but I figured it'd also be nice to blend it into the pesto. It actually turned out to be quite delicious. Now just for a tiny, tiny bit of salt and a little pepper and lots of spinach. Gotta hide those veggies for my husband. Voila! Quite beautiful. By the way, it was delicious too. Back to the chicken, I'm just adding a little salt and pepper to the browned chicken and a little garlic. Now I'm going to toast some bread in a little frying pan with some grass-fed butter. I'm just toasting one side, just enough to be able to hold the weight of what I'm putting on the sandwich, but also have the other side being a little soft, just for that texture. And now the pesto goes on, and the fresh-made mozzarella cheese. And I didn't want us to just eat the sandwich by itself, so I just added some store-bought potato salad, and I'm giving my husband a whole lot more than myself, just giving myself a little tablespoon or so, because I am trying to watch my portion sizes these days. Normally I would set the table and put some placemats down, but since we're just eating from one plate and it's not a huge meal, And our table is actually not real wood, it's resin or laminate, one of those. So I'm not worried about a big mess and stains and all of that. But there it is. There's our dinner. And it was really delicious. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.